This is the second lecture in application of op-amps. In my previous lecture in the application of op-amp, I have discussed the difference amplifier and from the concept of difference amplifier here the instrumentation amplifier will be discussed first, then a few non-ideal effects of the or non-ideal characteristics of the operational amplifier where the input offset voltage and the input bias current and the offset current will be discussed. The application of the instrumentation amplifier is very important in signal processing, especially for those signals which are coming from some transducers or from some sensors, because the signals coming from transducers or sensors are very weak in nature. In addition to that, some noises may also be present within those signals. So therefore, the noise which appears as a common mode or common voltage to those signals can be cancelled if those signals is processed by some differential amplifier. And as I have discussed the properties of differential amplifier and the application of the differential amplifier in my last lecture. So there you can see if the signal is applied as a in a differential mode to a differential amplifier, so the common mode signal will automatically be rejected and the output will be free of the common mode noises. In addition to that, the amplification for the signal V1 and the V2 must be equal in magnitude. But a general difference amplifier cannot serve these purposes because of their input impedances. You can see that input impedance is being experienced by this signal is the R1 that I already have discussed in my last lecture. What is the input impedance should be experienced by the signal at its non-inverting at its inverting terminal. So it is the input experience R1 that will be experienced by the signal V1. The input impedance that will be experienced by the signal V2 will be the R3 plus R4. So you can see that there is a clear mismatch in the input impedance of the signal V1 therefore and the V2, and therefore the equal rejection of the common mode signals are not possible for the such kind of ordinary difference amplifier. In addition to that, equal amplification is also not possible for such kind of the ordinary difference amplifier. So therefore, we need a special one. This circuit is an improved version of the previous one. Here, instead of this single differential amplifier, two additional differential amplifier is used, and they are also provided this negative feedback, and where this terminal is grounded, and this differential input V1 is applied at the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier having open loop gain A1, and this V2 is connected to the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier having this open loop gain A2. Since uh, this terminal is connected with the ground, so these two operational amplifier works as the non-inverting terminal or non-inverting operational amplifier. And we know the closed loop gain for the non-inverting configuration is this one. So at the input of the final circuit, these voltages are being appeared, and finally you can get the final voltage as the amplified version of the input voltage of this one and this one. The major advantage that we can have using these two operational amplifier is the input impedance. Unlike the previous circuit where the inputs were directly applied at this terminal and this terminal, therefore the input signal were suffering from different input impedances. Um, Here the signals are applied directly to the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier, and the input impedance this signal and this signal are being experienced is the infinite input impedance of the operational amplifier if the operational amplifier are assumed to be ideal one. But for non-ideal case, the input impedance of the operational amplifier is very high. So therefore, these two signal are experiencing very high input impedance for the operational amplifier. But instead of such an improved version of the previous circuit, still this circuit suffers from some basic limitations. So first of all, is the A1 and A2 are not matched. So here the open loop gain of this A1 and A2 are different. In addition to that, this terminal, this X terminal is grounded. Therefore, this A1, this operational amplifier, and A2, this operational amplifier works independently from each other. Therefore, the mismatch occurs in the output signal, but we know the match signal should be entered with at the input of this terminal. Next one is the large common mode signal. As these two operational amplifiers are not working in differential mode, so means the input signal which are carrying some common, which may carry some common mode noise, and each of the input signal are fed to each of the operational amplifier individually, where these two operational amplifier are working independently from each other due to this ground terminal. So in addition to the differential mode signal, the common mode signal may also be amplified, and if the common mode signal is large enough, those common mode signal can make these two operational amplifier or any one of them into the saturation mode. So that make a major problem for such kind of configuration. Next one is the equal differential gain. Now, since these two operational amplifier are working independently from each other, the equal differential gain is not be achieved, because in order to achieve the equal differential gain, the variation in R1 and these two R1, this R1 and this R1 must vary in equally, or must vary simultaneously. So when this R1 will be increased, this R1 also will be increased, and they should increase in similar in magnitude. So therefore, such kind of configuration cannot provide the desired output due to these limitations. Here is the improved one. From my previous circuit, if you remove the ground terminal which was placed at this point, and those two individual R1 resistors which were associated with these two operational amplifier A1 and A2, if you replace those two resistors by an equivalent resistance 2R1, then the previous circuit will be converted into this new and improved one. The current distributions for through each of these resistors are shown in the circuit below over here, and these currents can be found as follows. Here I am assuming that these three operational amplifiers are ideal in nature. So therefore A1, A2 and A3 are infinite, and we know for an infinite open loop gain, for an operational amplifier having infinite open loop gain, the potential that will be applied at its non-inverting terminal will be uh, reflected at its inverting terminal. So therefore this Vi1 will be available at its non-inverting or at its inverting terminal. Similarly, Vi2 also will be available at the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier having open loop gain A2. Now, the potential at the either end of these two R1 are known. So that means the potential difference across these two R1 is known. So we can easily find what is the current should flow through these two R1. So that is the Vi2 minus Vi1 divided by 2R1, and that is named over here as VID, because the potential difference between these Vi2 minus Vi1 is the differential voltage that we are interested in, and this is the differential voltage we are applying. So finally, the differential voltage is available as in terms of the current through these two R1 resistances. And as we know, for an ideal operation amplifier, no current can enter into the device, into the operational amplifier A1 and A2. So that current, these VID divided by 2R1 current, should flow through this R2, through this R2 and this R2. So by multiplying this R2 with that current, that is VID divided by 2R1, we can easily obtain the potential at this terminal or across these resistances. So the analysis method I have represented in two ways. The first method is that I'm applying KVL around these. So starting from this V02 and V01. Here is V02 and here is V01, and if you apply KVL, then this equation will be resulted, and from this expression I can easily obtain the expression for the differential output voltage V02 minus V0. This output voltage is not the final output. This is the differential output voltage across these two terminal, and this V02 minus V01 is basically the differential input will be experienced by this operational amplifier, and this input to this operational amplifier is related with the differential input, original input, and the overall output V0 is equals to the difference between its two terminal times the R4 divided by R3, because as I have explained in my previous lecture that by replacing these two resistor equal to these two resistor, we can represent, or we can design a difference amplifier. So here is the amplifier which is providing the output in terms of the difference of the input available at its two terminals. So finally, by replacing these this difference voltage from this expression over here, we can get the final expression as V0. Now look at here, we have overcome all the limitations because the signals are applied directly to the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier A1 and A2, and by doing that, these two signals are experiencing infinite input impedance of the operational amplifier, or we can say for the non-ideal case they are experiencing equal input impedance of the operational amplifier. In addition to that, the overall voltage gain V0 is including this R1 resistance in its expression. So therefore, by changing the R1, we can have the different values of output voltage V0, and for that we only need to change this R1. So we do not need to change the different R1 as we need to do in my last circuit. So by changing this R1, both of these operational amplifiers are changing accordingly, so that the overall output voltages or overall output voltage is available in this form. This circuit can also be analyzed in a different way by knowing that Vi1 is applied at the non-inverting terminal of this operational amplifier A1, and due to the infinite voltage gain, open loop gain of this operational amplifier A2, this Vi2 is available at this terminal. So if we assume the directly Vi2 is appeared at this terminal, then by considering the input, both this input Vi1 is applied at its non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier A1, and Vi2 is applied at the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier A1. We can write the V01, the output voltage of the A1, in this way. Since Vi1 is applied at the non-inverting terminal, so we can have the output voltage for the Vi1 having this form, this R2 divided by 2R1, because R2 is the feedback resistance and 2R1 is connected with this second voltage. So as I have explained in my previous lecture, that when we need to analyze general differential amplifier, we need to consider one input voltage at once, when the other input voltage should be connected, should be grounded. So in this case, when I'm considering this Vi1, I have assumed that this terminal is grounded, since this Vi2 is connected at this or applied at this terminal. So with this terminal grounded, this this output voltage V01 due to this Vi1 will take this form, and when I'm considering this voltage by considering this terminal grounded, then the zero potential will be available over here, and the output voltage due to Vi2 for the operational amplifier A1 will take this form. But in this case, since it is applied to this to its inverting terminal, so this negative sign will appear over here. Similarly, for V02, this operational amplifier A2, we can have the Vi2 voltage applied directly to its non-inverting terminal, and Vi1 voltage applied to its inverting terminal through these two R1. So by following the previous procedure or previous steps, we can have the expression for V02 as shown over here. And now, so what is V02 and V01? These two voltages are basically the input voltage, differential input voltage for the last stage. So finally, I can get the differential voltage as this one, and this voltage I also obtained in my previous slide also. Next step is a very simple one. Just follow the previous steps. That means get the output for the last stage, and V0 is equals to V02 minus V01 times R4 divided by R3, and replace this one, and you will end up with the exact the similar equations that already I have derived in the last slide. Next is the non-ideal effect of operational amplifier or non-ideal characteristics. Mainly the out of the entire or all ideal characteristics, the main two non-ideal characteristics that I'm going to discuss over here are the open loop gain is finite, where I have assumed for the ideal operational amplifier that is infinite, and the differential stage at the input is not exactly matched. The first point, the open loop gain is finite. This effect of the this non-ideal effect already I have discussed in my last lecture, where I was discussing the inverting configuration and non-inverting configuration, and I have shown over there the what will be the uh, inverting gain and non-inverting gain due to the finite open loop gain. So I'm not considering the first point. The second point rather is another important one, that the differential stage at the input is not exactly matched. And when I was discussing the differential amplifier there and especially the CMRR there, I have shown you that due to a little mismatch in the collector resistance RC, we have seen the finite value of the common mode voltage, and that mismatch actually uh, makes the non-zero common mode voltage to take place uh, in the final expression for the CMRR. So that is why we need to consider this point over here, and I'm going to consider this one. Now the consequences. As I told, the closed loop gain depends upon the open loop gain, and this was the consequence that I have discussed in my last lecture due to the finite open loop gain. And due to this mismatch, these 2 points appear. The first one is the input offset voltage VOS, and the next one is the input bias current, and in there is the input offset current. Although this input bias current is not due to this one, because there should be some bias current, and that bias current also will be available, and we have to consider over here. So this input offset current is due to this one. Ideally, the output should be 0 when both of their differential input or the individual inputs are connected with the ground potential. But due to the input offset voltage, this is not possible. That means when the input voltage is at 0, then the output voltage is not appear 0 exactly. For example, an operational amplifier has an input offset voltage is 5 millivolt. And if the open loop gain of the operational amplifier is 1000, then you can imagine how large is the output voltage that will appear at the output. And this is the schematic where the input offset voltage can be imagined. This operational amplifier is the offset free operational amplifier. If you imagine, then the input offset voltage is generally assumed with connected with its non-inverting terminal. And if it is, then when you're going to use that operational amplifier in a closed loop mode, that means for inverting configuration or non-inverting configuration, then for this kind of configuration, when both of their inputs are 0, still you will have some output voltage due to this offset voltage, because due to presence of this offset voltage, the operational amplifier will be treated as a single input voltage connected with its non-inverting terminal, while the both of their inputs are physically connected with the ground. So that is why this much amount of voltage will be available at the output. Solution is that if you know what is the offset voltage, then you should connect another external voltage having equal in magnitude of the offset voltage but opposite in phase. So that external voltage will cancel the effect of the offset voltage and bring down the output voltage to 0, and then you can apply the operational amplifier as usual in inverting mode or non-inverting mode. Other than these, a few operational amplifiers are available where another two additional terminals are provided, and then one variable resistors are generally connected in between these two terminals, and by varying the variable resistor, the output offset voltage can be brought down to 0. And basically the variations of this variable resistor makes or produce some imbalance within the circuit, so that actually counteracts the asymmetry of the operational amplifier, and by doing that thing you can bring the output voltage down to 0. Next is the input bias and input offset current. As you have seen in the case of differential amplifier, the differential amplifier gets biased by the constant current source, and the collector current and of the each of these individual transistor got biased as alpha I divided by 2. So that is the bias current you can consider. So therefore, if the equal amount of collector currents are used or equal bias current is applied for this operational amplifier, then the overall bias current can be considered as the individual bias current divided by 2. So if IB1 will be equals to IB2, so the bias current will be IB will be equals to either IB1 or IB2. The input offset current in that case will be 0. But as you have seen in the case of differential amplifier, that due to a very small mismatch in the collector resistance, um, the the current I divided by, or alpha I divided by 2 will not be applicable for the bias current for both of these circuits or both of these bipolar junction transistors. Similarly, if a little mismatch appeared within this operational amplifier, so due to that mismatch, this bias current may not be appeared equal to each other. So in that case, this IB1 will be different from this IB. This bias current will be different from that of the IB1 and IB2, and in addition to that, some offset current also will be appeared due to the difference or non-zero difference between these IB1, this bias current, individual bias current of the individual branches. So a typical value of IB, that is the bias current, is 100 nanoampere, whereas this is a typical value of the offset current we can see over here. Now, for example, the closed loop output voltage that can be available for this bias current. So here, this closed loop connection I have used, where the both of their input or both of these inputs are connected with the ground potential. So since a short circuit terminal is connected across the current source IB2, so we can neglect in this expression. So V naught can be obtained as the voltage across this resistance R2, because due to the high voltage gain, open loop voltage gain, we know that the potential which is appeared at its non-inverting terminal will be available at its inverting terminal. So this potential voltage across this R2 is the output voltage, and that can be obtained by multiplying this R2 with this IB1 or this total IB, where this IB2 can be neglected. Now, as we should have V naught is equals to 0 when both of their input are connected with a 0, but still due to this input offset current, we have some finite value or non-zero value of the output voltage, and that basically limits the upper limit of this R2, because it is clear that if a finite value of the base current IB exists, so in that case the maximum or the highest value of R2 that we can apply, that also be limited, because in that case this offset voltage that is caused due to this offset current or the bias current will be a significant one in comparison with those when you are applying the input signal to this operational amplifier. However, the solution to bring this V0 to 0 is easy, because like this R1 appears in the inverting terminal, we can assume another, or we can connect another resistor R3 to its non-inverting terminal, and in addition to this voltage R2 IB1 that appeared as the output voltage due to this R1, due to presence of this R3, this voltage can be considered as the output voltage for this current IV when it flows along the opposite, when it flows to this direction through the R3. So that is why, since this potential across the R3 can be treated as the input voltage for the non-inverting configuration of the operational amplifier, then this kind of expression is resulted. And from here, we do expect that V0 should be 0 in presence of these two individual values of IB1 and IB2. So in order to get the values of R3, for what value of R3 we can make this V0 0. So we should put this V0 0 and we can get the result of R3. So R3, if you rearrange this expression, and finally we can get the expression for R3 as the parallel combination of R1 and R2 times the ratio of IB1 to IB2. Now, as I have defined IB as the summation of IB1 and IB2, and IOS as the difference of those two IB1 and IB2, so this IB1 and IB2 can be obtained from those two equations as shown over here. And from this expression, it is clear that if offset current is 0, then we can have R3 is equals to R1 parallel R2. Or in other word, if you replace R3, that means this resistor, as R1 parallel R2, that means if you replace this R3 by a parallel combination of this R1 and this R2, then from the left hand side and right hand side, these two terms R1 parallel R2 gets cancelled out, and this equation will result in IOS equals to 0, because IB also will be cancelled out. So by making this R1 parallel R2 as an equivalent resistor for R3, we can achieve the result of 0 output voltage, due to, although the input offset voltage is present, but we still have some 0 output voltage. This slide is just concluding the summary of my last slide.